friends on the internet, it's me, Jen. Today we're gathered here to talk about cancer and my experience with it. Whew, God, this is going to be awful, isn't it? Before we start, I wanna point a couple things out and then we will jump into the video. The reason why I'm sitting here is because if we're gonna talk about this shit, let's make sure that I am comfortable, and the couch is where I am comfortable. I've also got my phone where I wrote my notes, and I've also got my water, so this is gonna take long. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. So the reason why I haven't done this is because there's maybe 4 or 5 people actually know about this situation, and it feels weird to tell the internet. I mean, probably not a lot of people is going to see this, but anyways, this feels weird. So if you are my friend and you're seeing this video and you're like, oh my god, bitch did not tell me this before, it's because I don't want people to worry about me. I don't want any awkward conversation, and that's why I haven't told anyone. But if you want to message me, talk about this or anything, yes, you can do this, as long as you don't make it awkward for me and you. And also, the reason why I am finally doing this is I was talking to a friend another day and she was asking me questions about other things, and I said, you know what, I actually have / had cancer, which I will go into details about this / situation. And I mean, if someone is worried about their health or whatever and decided to YouTube this, and if one person saw this video and felt better about their situations and all that, then I think this is worth it. So deep breath, we will get into this. And I kind of divided this video into 3 different sections, which I will put in the time in the description box. If you want to skip, you can do that. I want to first talk about my diagnose and my whole process, about how I found out and what my treatment was, and like the whole doctor visit situation. And then I will talk about my surgery and the recovery process, which you can see from here. And then I want to talk about tips, I guess, that helped me along the way, and hopefully you will find them helpful. So, whew, we are really doing this, aren't we? Let me take a look at my notes. And oh my god, I seriously is like hating this because okay, let's do this. Wait, what? Where? Oh, here. So here is my timeline. Last year in June, I went to see my family doctor for like your regular, what do you call those, like physicals, that like you take your blood, you do your thing, blah 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 and all that. And at that time, because I was getting married in September, I was like, can we do, oh, this hair, can we do some checks on, like, you know, like, are you ready for baby, this and that, and all those fun stuff. So she's like, yes, let's do a ultrasound for like this area. And I was like, oh, since we're doing ultrasound, can we also do an ultrasound on my neck? Because I always felt there's something here, but I never paid attention or actually did anything about it, because it doesn't bother me. Like, I can feel it here, but it doesn't hurt, it doesn't, like, it's fine. So she's like, okay, sure, let's do it. And I think that was June. Anyways, if you guys are in Canada, you know how long these things take. So I think it was 2 weeks later that I eventually got the appointment to see an ultrasound technician. And that's when I went in, and then she did like this first, and then she did the neck. basically during the ultrasound, the technicians are not allowed to say anything to you. They can't, like, their job is to do the scan and give it to this person who look at it and then talk to your doctor, and then your doctor is the person who's going to tell you the results. And I kind of felt like there was something going on at the appointment already, because she spent a lot of time focusing on like one area and taking a lot of pictures, and I was like, oh shit, I'm like fucked. And then she also asked me, she's like, is this your first time getting ultrasound for your neck? I was like, yep. And she's like, okay. And I was like, god damn it, like this is going down, like shit. So then she did like all the shit, blah blah blah, and then she's like, don't worry, your doctor will call you, blah blah blah. So a week later, I made an appointment to see my family doctor, because I want to see the results like of all the other physical things that she's done, like blood test result and all this crap. So I went in there and she basically said, oh, there is a nodule in your right side thyroid. Nodule are like thingamajig, just Google it and you know. And I was like, okay, how big is it? And then basically from the ultrasound, my thyroid size is like 6 centimeter times like whatever, and the nodule itself is 5 centimeter, which is like huge. And she's like, and I was like, oh my god, like what is that? Like, am I gonna fucking die? She's like, well, let me book you for a specialist, and the specialist will tell you more, and he or she will be helping you from there, blah 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 blah. So obviously I freaked out. I went home, I like googled like there's no tomorrow, and you know what happens when you Google, it's like you're gonna die tomorrow, and that's not what happened. I'm still here. So do not Google is my first tip. And what happened later? Let me see. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, here's the funny part. So after I had like this thingamajig, I called my mom and I told her about this. And then she's like, centimeter or millimeter? I was like, I'm pretty sure it is centimeter. And then she's like, okay, good luck. Let me know how the next appointment goes. So my mom doesn't live here. And that's why like I was talking to her and blah blah, she's in China. And then I'm sure she also did a lot of Googling, because she was like sending me random articles about this every day. I was like, just chill, like let's wait for the specialist and then we'll know what happens next. Oh, and this is when I got this tattoo, because I was like, if I'm gonna die tomorrow, what do I regret? I regret not getting a tattoo, and that's what happened. So another week went by. Again, being in Canada, you can never ever get appointment right away. So I called the doctor and I was like, my family doctor, I was like, what's going on? I didn't get any call. And then she's like, okay, here's the number for the specialist. If you want to call the specialist office and see what's going on, then you can do it. But we've already put a request in and they should be able to call you soon with an appointment, blah blah blah. So I called the specialist office, and this girl who is the doctor's secretary said, oh yes, we know about your case. The doctor wants to see you soon, but we're trying to fit you in. First of all, when people say we know you as like we know your case and we want to see you sooner, I am like, bitch, you're gonna die, like seriously, like OMG, that is like insane. So like if you work in a doctor's office, don't ever say that, because that is insane and that is very scary. Anyways, fast forward another week, she called me again and said, please come in, the doctor's ready to see you, blah 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 blah. So okay, and remember, this whole time, like I still have a 9-to-5 job. I also have a wedding to plan at the same time. It was so fucking stressful that every day I'm just like, oh my god, what's going on? Which we will talk about the tips in a bit. Okay, like honestly, if you're my friend watching this, and I don't know if you're like laughing because y'all had no idea, or if you guys are like, oh my god, this girl is like dealing with so much shit. Okay, skip. Next. So, oh yes, so the first visit to the doctor, I think it is end of June, so it is like not too bad. And when I saw him the first time, he's like, this guy is like amazing. I love him so much. he basically explained to me like what is a thyroid nodule and what's the percentage and chance of this being cancer and not cancer, and what are some of the treatments, blah blah blah. And then I was like, okay, cool, now what? And then he's like, we will start with a biopsy to see what it is, and then we'll decide what to do next. And I was like, wait, what? Biopsy? Like right now? Like first appointment? Like we're just doing it? He's like, yeah, if you're ready to do it, we can do it today. And I was like, dude, I'm not ready for this. And also that day in the afternoon, I actually have we were doing our engagement shoot. So I was like, is it gonna, like, am I gonna be red? Is there gonna be like some shit going on? And he's like, well, there's gonna be a little hole, so people react differently. There may be visible, it may not be visible, it's your call. I was like, whoa, like I'm not ready for this. So I said I'll come back. So then that was the second visit, when I went there to do the biopsy. Basically they stick a needle into your nodule and take shit out to see what it is. And it doesn't hurt. There's no like numbing or whatever. He just like literally stick a needle in here. I think there are different ways to do it. Some of it you have to do it under ultrasound, but I guess mine was like massive. He didn't bother. He just like put some needles in and like boom boom boom, like pull some shit out and like stick it around, and that was it. It doesn't really hurt, but it was very uncomfortable. It's like, just imagine someone sticking a needle into your throat and be like, you know, moving around. And I did it, and then Daniel, who's my husband, fiance at that time, went with me. And then when I saw him, I was like, oh my god. I didn't cry, but I was like, oh my god, that was awful. But he was very good. He was like, oh, you're good, you're done now, blah blah blah. Anyways, so that was what happened. And he said that he will call me in the week, and the result will come out in the week, and we'll discuss at that time, blah blah blah. Fast forward, I keep going. I should know this, but okay. Okay, and then there was the third visit, which my mom came to Canada at that time because we were planning for a wedding, blah blah blah, and then she like came to help me. So this was happening when my mom was here. I remember that visit was on my birthday. And basically, that is when he was gonna tell me what this nodule is, if it's cancer or not, and what to do next. So I went with my mom, and my mom was like, do you want me to come with you? I was like, I don't know, but yes, sure. So she came with me, and then I went into the office by myself because I was like, okay, what if it's like shit? Then I don't want to like, you know, react in front of her and all that crazy stuff. So, OMG, I'm not crying, it's just, yeah. And then I went in, and then he explained to me it's not cancer, but he also explained that the biopsy is not 100% accurate because it doesn't take everything out of your nodule, it just picks samples. So it can be that your nodule is this big and there's like small areas which is cancer, but because of the way the biopsy is done, they can't be 100% sure, which like is what happened to me. So he said you can do a surgery or you can do it later, depends on your like schedule and what you want to do. And then he said, and I said like, okay, what do you suggest? And then he said, because you're still really young, it's gonna grow bigger and it's gonna start bothering you. And then he said, do you have difficulty swallowing? And I was like, oh, sometimes I do, but I never thought it's like difficulty swallowing. It's like when you want to swallow but you can't, so you have to like cough and then it would swallow. But I never thought it's actually related to my thyroid issue. So I was like, okay, sure, let's do it. But that was like July, but I had a wedding in September, and also I was going back to China for my second wedding in October. So I said, let's schedule it after that. And he's like, okay, cool. That was that. And after that, I was like, hallelujah, it's not cancer. It's like, oh my god, I'm gonna get married, like live a life, blah blah blah. So I haven't thought about this for a long time, and then basically like this whole time my mom and I had to decide when to do the surgery, blah blah blah. So I had to actually go back to the office that like another time to sign all the stuff that I like, yes, I'll do surgery in this day, blah blah blah. Fast forward to the surgery part. And so a week before your surgery, you have to go see your family doctor, and they have to like measure your blood pressure, all that stuff, and they send this to the hospital that's actually doing your surgery. So this whole time I haven't seen my surgeon, which is like my doctor, for the longest time. And then before the surgery, you also have to go to the hospital where you have to see the anesthetician, is that how I say it? The person who puts you to sleep, a pharmacist who asks you questions about like what kind of painkiller are you taking any other medicines, things that they need to be aware of, and also the nurse. So this girl, she's like so nice. She told me everything about like what you need to bring to the hospital and what you need to do for recovery, like take deep breaths and like all these things. So we did that, and my mom came with me because she was like, oh my god, I want to make sure you're getting like well taken care of, or well, she's like the best mom ever, whatever. Wait, not whatever, but you know what I mean. And then oh yeah, and because I had a little heart thingy-majig happened when I was a kid, they had to do like a heart scan or whatever to make sure that I'm all good to going under and all that stuff. So that happened as well. And then fast forward to November, which was the surgery, and I will talk about it later. But that happened, and then for the recovery, I actually took 2 weeks off to work from home. But I don't know, I think everyone is different, but for me, the recovery was like so bad. It was so uncomfortable. Like I don't know what, like I didn't know how to feel, and it was just awful, which I will also talk about it in a bit. And then here comes the cancer part. You're like, girl, you've been talking about this, like where is that? Here it is. So a week after the surgery, the doctor called me and he's like, here, we got your pathology result. And he said, oh wait, actually, oh yes, actually a week later I went back to remove the tape and all that stuff, and he just like removed the tape and told me how to keep like massaging this area so it heals better, blah blah blah. And then I asked him about the pathology result, and he's like, oh, we don't have it yet because I think it was a long weekend or whatever. Like anyways, we didn't have it. And then a week from that, I was at work. I was like getting ready to leave work, and then he called me. I was like, oh my god. He called me, and then he's like, we've got the pathology result. Your nodule was 5 centimeters, and within that 5 centimeters, there's 1 centimeter that is cancer. And I was like, oh my god, what? And then he's like, he's like, this guy is, okay, like if you see him, he is so, I don't know how to explain it. Like when you talk to him, he is so attentive, and you can tell he like actually cares about you. Like he would look at you in your eyes, and then he will be like, okay, don't worry, blah blah blah. So it's like really fun that it's really funny that we're actually doing this through the phone, because anyway. And then he's like, don't worry, like if you have to wish for a cancer, I don't know why anyone would wish for a cancer, thyroid cancer is the one you want because it is the least harmful one, blah blah blah. And I know a lot of people, like I've heard about this before, but I don't think that's fair. Like nobody wants cancer, so I don't care which kind or if there's a good one or a bad one. Like it's shit. Shit is shit, okay? So stop saying that. Anyways, and then he's like, the chance of you dying from a heart attack is higher than you dying from this, so don't worry. But since it's here, we need to make sure that we know what to do about it and blah blah blah. So he told me that he wants to book another ultrasound right away to go back in and see if there's anything else going on, since the last ultrasound that we did was in June and it's already like 6 months. And he said the type of the cancer that I had is like those really aggressive ones, and he wants to make sure that we don't need to go back in and remove the other side. And I was like, oh my god, are you serious? Like 2 weeks ago this just happened and I'm finally feeling a little bit better, and now you're telling me that you have to go back and remove the other side? It's insane. So then during this whole time, like a week after the surgery, I went to do some blood work. So if you have your thyroid removed, you'll know that some people with half side of their thyroid, it's good enough to give them all the hormones and all that stuff, and you aren't able to test it until later. So a month from your surgery, you'll have to go back in and do some blood test to see if your other side is doing fine and if you need to start taking hormone pills and all that stuff. So I did that, and I also went back to do the ultrasound, which was awful because you're just healing, but the way that you have to do a neck ultrasound, you have to like lean back like that. And the nurse she was really nice, and she's like, oh, it's so soon after your surgery, so if you're not comfortable, please tell me, blah blah blah, which, like, she's amazing. And then after that, oh god, we're almost there in terms of timeline. And then I went back to the doctor's office and reviewed all the like test results, the blood and the ultrasound and everything. Like, you have to understand when you're sick and you're waiting for results and things like that, it's like so intense because every day you kind of don't want to think about it, but also you just can't stop not thinking about it. And then on the other side, you still have your like 9-to-5 job, you still have to live a normal life. So that was like, oh my god, so crazy that time. And I went back, and then he's like, I think that was, let's see, in December, he said everything looks fine, your blood result looks good, you don't need to take any pill, and your ultrasound looks really good too. But then he also explained that the cancer can be there, it's just so small that we don't see anything yet, and the only way to make sure that it's gone is to remove the other side and then test to see if it has transferred to somewhere else and do all those kind of crazy stuff, blah blah blah. I was like, okay, so like, what do you want me to do? And then he said, like, this is also another thing that I really like about my doctor, is he is very honest. And he's like, I don't know. He said, like, in like medical, there's like black and white, and there's also gray area, which you can go either way. And he said he doesn't know. Like, in this point, with all the information he has, he does not know what's the best approach for me. So he is going to ask, like at this conference where basically like there's pathologist, specialist, cancer specialist, like all those kind of doctors, they meet like monthly to talk about stuff, like a nerd party basically. And he's like, I'm going to present your case, and once I hear back from everyone else's opinion, I will call you and we can talk about what's next. I was like, okay, there's really not much I can do, so let's just wait. And at this whole time, it was like a month or so, because I had to wait for him to have this meeting. It's like, oh my god, like some days that's all I think about, some days I'm just like, fuck this shit, you know? Anyways, the results, so he called me end of January, and then he's like, we talked to all the specialists, and everyone thinks that you're low risk, which means you don't have to do any surgery right away. We will just keep monitoring it. So like every 6 months, do an ultrasound and see what happens. So then last month, beginning of last month, I went to do my 6 month checkup ultrasound, and it was scary because, you know, like follow-up appointments are never fun. I did it, and the doctor called me, and not the doctor, the secretary called me and said everything is fine, but the doctor still wants to see me, which I'm going to see him in 2 weeks. It's June, it's mid-June, I'm going to see him end June to just make sure that everything's okay and we have a plan for how to take care of me going forward. So there you have it. That is my timeline. Now let's talk about the surgery. Okay, so I am in Canada. I don't know if this is like the same all over the world or how it is, but I'm just gonna tell you what happened to me. So if you have a thyroid removal surgery coming up, you're prepared and all that. And of course, you can leave your questions in the comment and I will tell you what happens. I'll try my best to cover everything. So it's like those day surgery thing where you're scheduled in the early in the morning and you have to basically go into the hospital in the morning. And before that, like all the normal stuff, you can't drink, you can't eat, blah blah blah. So for me, I had to go in and then I just waited in this room where basically they admit you. Is that how I say it? Like basically they like ask you to put into those like gowns and remove like basically strip and then put on this like medical thingamajig. And oh, I might actually have a picture. Let me see if I can find a picture while we talk more. And then you just have to wait. I can't remember when my surgery was scheduled, but I had to wait for an hour or so because he was like his schedule ran late and we just had to wait for him. And my mom and Daniel came with me to wait together, and because my mom doesn't speak English, Daniel went as well to help translation and all that. I am getting really distracted here, scrolling through the picture, trying to find... oh yes, here we go. Oh yeah, there's so many pictures I can show you. Anyways, so... they basically ask you to put into something like this, and then you wait. And when it was my time, they basically called me, and this is like the part that I didn't expect. So you know how like in movies you see like they put in the bed and then they roll the bed into the surgery room, but that's not true in here. I had to like walk into this room, like this area, and there's like a long corridor, that's how I say it, like a long thingamajig, and there's different surgery rooms. So I had to walk in there, and then I had to like, this nurse was like, okay, just like rest on the bed for a bit and then we'll call you when it's ready. Oh, water break. So I went and then I slept on the bed, like I got on the bed and I was just like laying there. And the like messed up part for me is I wear glasses and you can't wear contacts. So I was like, I am blind, I don't know what's going on. I'm just laying there. The good part is they give you a blanket, and that blanket is like warm, so it's actually very comfortable. So while I was waiting there, a couple people came out. First of all, this nurse came out and she's like, oh hi, I'm gonna be your nurse, like how are you feeling? I was like nervous, and she's like, okay, don't worry about it, this doctor, like your doctor is really awesome, you'll be fine, blah blah blah. And then also this anesthesia, I'm saying this so wrong, the person who puts you to sleep, he came and he's like, oh, I didn't see you last time, it was my colleague that saw you a week before, but I'm here to take care of you, don't worry about it, blah blah blah. And then my doctor came too, and then like I haven't seen him for a long time. He's like, oh hi, how are you feeling, who's here with you? And I was like, my husband and my mom. And he's like, okay, don't worry about it, as soon as we're done I will go talk to them and don't worry. So I think he just finished his like previous surgery. Like in this TV in the waiting room you can see all the surgeries that he has and the status of every patient, so you can see that like literally the whole day he's doing those kind of surgeries, which is insane to be doctors. And I was like, okay, cool. So I am just like, you know, waiting, and then he went to, I think he just finished the surgery, so he went to talk to the other family, and then he came back and I was just like laying there like waiting and don't know what's going on. I can't remember how long it was, but it was quite long. And then this nurse came, he's like, and then she's like, we're ready for you. Just come in. So like that's the scary part, like you have to get down off this bed and walk into the surgery room and literally lay onto this table by yourself, and that table looks like, it looks like this. So your body is here and then your arm is like spread like this. Just think about how scary it is that you have to go in there and like basically hop on and like go like this while like all those nurses and your doctor is like looking at you. That is just like the insane part for me that I didn't expect at all. Anyway, so I did this, and then they put another warm blanket on me, and then they asked me the name. Like, the doctor's like, so what's your name? Like, what are you here for? Blah, blah, blah. We're gonna remove the right side of your thyroid. Blah, blah, blah. And then, oh God. And then the nurse, so I don't know if you can see anymore. There's still a little bruise here. The nurse, and so yeah, so your left side or your right hand, your right arms are like this, and the right arm is where they put all the like heartbeat, blood pressure, all that stuff on here, and your left arm is where they put the IV in. So he like failed at first, and then he's like, okay, you're too small, I'm gonna use like kids needles for you. And then he did it. It's all this, and then like done. Like, I'm like, done, you can't move. And then the doctor basically said more to the nurse and everyone in the surgery room about like what they're doing here, blah, blah, blah. And then the nurse was like, okay, are you ready? And then everyone was like really nice when they were like setting me up and all that, like making jokes, and was like, oh, like where else would you be if you're not here? But I was like, working, not as fun as this. But like everyone was really nice and just like, you know, making sure that you are feeling okay. And then they're like, you're nervous, that's fine, blah, blah, blah. And then the nurse was like, are you ready? I was like, okay, sure. So they put a mask on me, which is like oxygen. And he said, it's gonna smell like rubber, but it's fine, don't worry, blah, blah, and then put it on. And then he also said that he's gonna start putting the like the thingy-majig that puts you to sleep. And then he's like, it's gonna sting in a bit, and then you'll like feel nothing. So yes, I did feel a little bit, like you can feel the pain going from here. Like, it's like not painful. It's just like when people do this to you, it goes like do, 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 do. So like maybe 1, 2, 3 seconds when I feel the sting goes in here, bam, I'm out, like out. And people say when you're like in surgery you don't drink, but I swear I had a dream, which I can't remember what's going on. So like that, done. And when I woke up, I was in this room, I think it's their like recovery room or whatever, and this nurse, like I remember those two nurses talking about buying handbags, and I was just like, girls, I want to be part of this conversation, but I can't right now. And so I woke up, and then this nurse was like, oh, how you feel, blah, 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 your surgery went well, you're all good, blah, blah, blah. And she asked me how much pain I mean. If you've done like surgery or went to a hospital, you know they said like from 0 to 10, 0 being not painful at all, 10 being the most pain you've ever had in your life, how much pain you're in. And I was like 6 or 7, because like my period cramp is like insane. Like if that's a 10, I was like 6 or 7. She's like, okay, do you want painkiller? And then I was like, and then I was like, no, because at that point I think like the drugs are not gone yet, so I wasn't like too much pain. And the doctor also told me that the pain is not going to be from this stinging. The pain is mostly because they have to put breathing tube down into your throat, so your throat is going to hurt, but it's because of the breathing tube that they had to put in. And I also remember the upper part of my lip was like all bruised. I think that's how they like put the tube in, and then it just like bruised on my lip. Anyways, and so I just laid there, and then like they have to like monitor you and making sure you're all good before they send it back to you. And then a couple minutes later, like I started to feel like pain in my throat. It's not like too bad. Maybe it moved from like a 6 to an 8. So I told her, and I was like, I think I'm in more pain now. She's like, that's normal because your stuff is like is going away, and then now let's give you like some, I think she pumped like morphine in me, which was like, oh my god. So after she did it, I was like, oh, like, you know, like I was like, damn, like I was like high basically. And I was like to her, I feel so dizzy, am I gonna die? And then she's like, no, it's normal, you're good. So then I laid there for a bit, and then they pushed me out, and according to my mom and Daniel, they were like trying to figure out what's going on with me, because the doctor came out and told them that the surgery went well, I'm just in the recovery room, blah, blah, blah. But the TV was saying that they're transferring me up, but not yet. So they went up, they couldn't find me. So, but this whole time I was like, oh, I'm so high, I don't know what's going on, just like put me back to the room. So then they rode me back into the room, and let me see if I forgot anything. Okay, yeah, that's it. And then I went back to the room, and I think I have more pictures, but this is going to be very graphic. So there you go. My mom like had to take a picture of me. It's me, and this is a selfie that I took. So you can see all the like tapes and all that stuff going on. The red is like, I don't know, some stuff that it did. So that's that. It like, I wouldn't say it hurt, but it was very uncomfortable because your neck are basically like taped down like this, so you can't really move around. And for the first week, I think you had to sleep like this, like you can't lay down to sleep, you have to sleep with a pillow behind you, and then basically like sleep like this. And then I stayed in the hospital for a night where I was on IV the whole time. They were like pumping calcium, I think, or like I can't remember, but they were like doing shit. And then this nurse came in every hour or 2 hours to make sure that my blood pressure was right, and like did all this like crazy stuff. And my benefit covered a semi-private room, which I kind of regret now that if I can do this again, let's hope I don't have to do this again, and I will get a private room, because the girl beside me, I think she had her uterus removed, and she was yelling and screaming the whole night. I felt so bad for her, like she was in so much pain, and like I felt so bad for her, but also I was trying to sleep too, right? So anyways, if you can afford a private room for these kind of things, do that, because you need to rest, and with someone else who's in pain beside you, it's just too much on you. So that was the surgery part. And then in terms of recovery, it was pretty bad because I didn't expect it to be that bad at all. Basically, you're like this for the whole week, so you can't move. You just have to like stay in this position, and when you eat, you're trying to swallow, but you can't swallow, because when you swallow, see that how I just did this, and this like moved up, it moves, like everything moves, and it's a really, really weird feeling. I'm just getting used to it now. Like I don't think I'm gonna feel the same as before ever, which is fine. And the back of your neck is going to be so sore, because that's the only muscle that's supporting you from like not dropping your head like this, but making sure that it's like in place. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a really, really weird feeling, so be prepared for that. And also, you can't shower, so your hair is gonna smell like shit, and like you're just feeling very weak. And if you want to do, you can do normal things. So I was working at the same time, but I had to, like, if you do this for a couple hours, you have to go back and lay down because your neck is just so sore. And for me, it took me almost 2-3 months to finally get used to this feeling, and I am now finally slowly going back to the gym. Like, girl, I was strong before. Like, I did the CN Tower run, I can do 10K run and all that stuff, and now I'm just slowly getting back to it. So I would say plan for the worst and hope for the best. And then a week later, I went back and had all the stuff removed and the tape removed. Let me see if I can find more pictures for you guys. So this was me in the hospital. Oh my god, this is like insane. See how my lip is like bruised? That's from the tube, and that's the tape thing. And then I went back home, and the whole week I was just like taking pictures of myself to see how I'm progressing. You can see that's the tape, and it's a little bit swallowed at that time. And then a week later I went to remove it, and this is how it looked like right after I removed it. This was me in the parking lot. Can you tell how happy I was? Because like finally I can move I can't really move my neck, but it feels better. So this is like right after. For a long time it was like really red. Now if you don't really look close enough, it's not as crazy. And then like there's like scar tissue with scar, like those dry thingamajig that was like dropping off, and then now it's like finally healed. So oh shit, it's like hot. I have to turn this off. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. My camera keeps shutting down because it's too hot. What was I saying? Oh, recovery. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say one more thing about recovery, and then I will jump into the tips, because we don't want this video to be 30 minutes long. 50 minutes long? 5T. I just said 5T. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and I also lost my voice, which I didn't expect, but because I guess you're like this all the time, so your voice kind of sounds like this, but it went over eventually. So that's the surgery. Oh god, I already said we plan for the worst, hope for the best. Now let's move on to the tip part. So first thing I would say is don't avoid it. Like, now I'm thinking back, if the first time I found this, like I felt it, I went to the doctor and then we looked at it, the result might be different. And I think you are the person that knows your body the most. So if you feel like something is not right, don't avoid it. Go see a doctor, have it checked out. And it's better to know what's going on than just be like, yeah, it's alright, it's not bothering me, we'll just see whenever it happens. So that's tip number one. Number two is, I guess, as patient who's dealing with cancer, and as well as a family member and friends or family member who has cancer, is don't, how should I say it? As patient, ask for space, and as the person who is dealing with somebody who has cancer, is to respect the other person. So I think that is one thing that my mom and Daniel has been really good with, is they'll ask me like, do you want me to go with you? Like, do you want, and if I say, please don't come to this appointment with me, they're okay with that. And sometimes you just want to deal with it yourself first, and once you know how you want to deal with it, then you want to tell people and have their support. So ask for the space. Don't feel bad if you just want to deal with it yourself, you don't want to tell anyone. That's totally okay. So that, oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna start crying, but whew. And also ask for support too. If you need support, if you need to talk to someone, there's so many different ways. If you don't want to talk to your friends, you don't want to talk to your friends, there's also like online forums. You can talk to your doctors, you can ask for a community. There's people who has done this before and who can help you with. You don't want to just sit there by yourself and think about all the bad things that could happen and just feel bad about yourself. Like, go talk to someone, you're fine. Like, a lot of people has done this, and the reason why doctors are doctors, because they know what to do with these. So like, don't feel sad and be bad and just like feel bad about yourself and just like shut everyone else down. Like, ask for support and yeah. Trust your doctor. So I totally understand when you're sick, like literally the first thing you want to do is Google. But don't do that, because Google is going to tell you that you will be dead tomorrow. Like, literally, I Googled the type of cancer that my doctor told me, and then it says you can't live for more than 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks or a month or something? Like it basically said I'm going to be dead tomorrow, and I'm still here. So trust your doctor. They know what they're doing, and if the doctor tells you they don't know, don't worry too. It's just from my experience, when my doctor said he doesn't really know what's going on and he needs to ask for more advice, it actually made me feel better that he's not just randomly making decisions for me. He knows that he doesn't have enough information and he doesn't feel comfortable making a decision for me, so he needs to go ask other people. And that is totally fine. So trust your doctor. Oh, and if you have some sort of nodule, cyst, something, and people tell you, and doctors tell you that it's not cancer or whatever, in my opinion, like, it's better to just remove it, get it over with. For me, when the doctor said my biopsy is saying that it's not cancer, he said you can decide. You don't have to do it right now. You can do it whenever. And if I didn't, then who would know what have happened? Because it's never 100% accurate, and you have to just make the decision that's best for you. Also, take it slow, especially when you're trying to recover. For me, like, it took me weeks that I can finally go outside, because like just walking is going to be exhausting for you, because you're like this. Like, just imagine walking like a full day outside with your head like this, and this is like not fun. And if you're tired, that's fine. Take a break, sit down, go home, and just take everything slow. And when I finally started going back to the gym, I was like, this is insane, because I know I can do it, but I'm like, I can't right now. But it's fine. Take it slow. Trust your body. If you need a break, take it. If you feel like you can push yourself forward, do that too. So yeah. And last but not least, I think the biggest thing for me is that there is going to be good days, and there are going to be bad days, and it's okay. So there are days that, oh my god, I'm gonna start crying. Whew. There are days that you're just like, that's all you think about. There are days that you're just like, oh my god, like, what's going on with me, blah blah blah, and all you think about is that, and that's totally okay. And there are good days where, like, ooh, like today I don't feel anything. Today I'm just like the normal me, enjoying life and things like that. So there are going to be good days, and there are going to be bad days, and that's normal, and that's totally okay. And just stay focused, trust your doctor, talk to the people that you trust, and just know that everything's going to be okay. And also, it also teaches you how to appreciate life more. I never thought about it myself until this. Then, like, literally every day is a gift, and a lot of people don't think about it because they take everything for granted, and that's not fine, and that's not right. So that's all I had to say about my experience. If you made it to the end of this video, hallelujah to you. If you are someone who's experiencing this as well, and you want to talk, and you have more questions about this whole situation, and comment down below, and I will try my best to answer your questions. And if you're my friend who has watched this whole video, now you're probably like, what the fuck is happening, and this girl just never said anything, this is insane. Yes, I know that. If you want to talk about it, you can message me, we can talk about it. Now that it's all out and in this internet ocean for people to find, yeah, we can talk about it, as long as you don't make it awkward for me and you. If you are new to my channel because you searched the internet world and found this video, I also do makeup videos, I also do vlogs. So if you want to subscribe to me, I would really appreciate that. And this is probably the hardest video I've ever done, and I still don't know if I'm going to upload it, so we will see. If you eventually see it, and to my friends, I'm sorry, I never told you this, to friends on the internet that found my video, you'll be fine. Like me, I'm still here. So that's all, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.